The Sports Time Podcast.
We haven't talked about Justin Fields yet. What do you think, or how well do you think he'll do with Chicago?
I think he will do good wherever he goes. We have to remember, when he came out of high school, he was rated higher than Lawrence. And everyone seems to forget that. He went to Georgia. He got low on the depth chart. He had to go to Ohio State. I really feel if he just would have went from Ohio State from the get-go, he would have been the top pick overall and not Fields. I'm waiting for the 30 for 30 on why he fell. You know, it doesn't make sense to me why, with everything he does, the mobility, the athleticism, the deep ball. Yeah, he makes some bad reads, but all these kids make some bad reads. So it doesn't make sense why he fell that much to me.
Yeah, I don't know why, seemed like they were always trying to find something against Justin Fields. And it feels like every year, at least every draft, there's always a quarterback that falls late, like Justin Fields this year. I think a few years ago it was Dwayne Haskins, but of course Haskins wasn't very good. The year before that, it was Lamar Jackson. It seems like almost every year you have that quarterback that falls. But it was just weird how Justin Fields, this really good player at one time, the second best quarterback outside of Trevor Lawrence, and all of a sudden when, the end of February after he declares to the draft, he's possibly a late first round pick. It was just weird how they kept on finding things against him. And I think he'll do well. And I'm just really shocked the Bears made the right pick, because we'll see what ends up happening with the Bears. Because as you mentioned earlier, Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy, they are pretty much fighting for their job, because if they don't get this right, they're probably going to be out.
Oh, for sure. And this trade screamed, hey, I'm trying to make up for not drafting Mahomes and Watson by trading up for Fields because he was still on the board. That's what the pick screamed to me. The trade, excuse me.
Yeah, it was. If we go back to 2017, it was just like, I didn't know much about Mahomes, and I don't really get mad at the Bears for not drafting Mahomes, but they had a chance to draft Deshaun Watson, who everybody thought was the best quarterback going into the draft that year. And it was just weird how they traded so much spots for Mitch Trubisky, and maybe they thought something with Trubisky, because some people did say he would do well in the NFL, but that just was a complete waste of a pick. And yeah, as you mentioned, I think, like I said, Ryan Pace, Matt Nagy, they better get this right, which I think with Justin Fields, they got it right. They have the defense. It's going to be interesting to see what the Bears do this season.
A lot of pressure on Nagy. A lot of pressure on that guy.
Yeah, he did well his first year, but these last 2 years have been very disappointing. And I feel like he has to win at least a playoff game this year in order to keep his job. So,
exactly. I agree with you 100%.
Thanks for listening to the Sports Town Podcast, or the STP Pod for short. If you want to check out more videos of the Sports Town Podcast, click on the left. If you want to subscribe to the channel, click on the right.